What's up, my friends? It is Stormy, of course, and welcome back to another episode of Trailer Predictions. So guys, as you can see, I just got done watching the trailer for Ready Player One, and this is another trailer that I've seen at least a handful of times, and each time I see it, it gets more and more fantastic. Guys, this movie looks so amazing. It really does. It looks truly amazing. Now, I should say right off the bat, I'm not familiar with the book. I haven't read the book, so I don't know what's going on in the storyline. I'm not familiar with any of the dynamics in the story at all. But I can get a grasp of what's going on just by watching this trailer. This trailer that I watched here, the official one, really gives you a good idea of what's going on in the story. And I love what I see. I really do. The world building that's going on, the trailer parks, you know, the trailers, I should say, stacked on top of each other. The idea that there's no place else to go in the world anymore, because obviously by 2045, which is the date that this movie is set here, by that time, obviously, I guess we haven't got off planet, and we still haven't made contact with aliens, and we still haven't really done anything in terms of like space exploration. So after all the exploring's done of the world, I guess there's no place else to go except for inside this virtual world. Of course, overpopulation is definitely an issue. You can see that by the trailers stacked on top of each other. But the idea that the internet, going into this place called the Oasis, which is like the boundless internet, where you can create anything you want. You can literally create your own characters and your own world and your own life, and that is endless. But at the same time, you're sitting on top of your washing machine bed in a trailer park skyscraper. Another thing that I really enjoy about Ready Player One is the idea that Steven Spielberg is behind this, because really, when has Steven Spielberg ever made a bad film? Even his okay films like the BFG, which was, you know, it was watchable, it's alright, it's got that Steven Spielberg magic a little bit, but it wasn't quite there, you know, but it was still a good film, right? So when has Steven Spielberg really ever made a bad film? He's never made a bad film. From day one, he was showing how different he was as a director and how imaginative he was as a director. So I think you need Steven Spielberg. I think I would dare say he's the only director. He is the most appropriate director to get behind the camera for a project like this. I mean, he's made some of my favorite movies. I don't have to tell you guys, you know, E.T., Minority Report, the list goes on. I mean, he's just one of the most legendary filmmakers of all time. And you need that for the epicness. This project is epic. It is so epic. And you need Spielberg's touch behind this to give it that imagination, to give it that magic. And I cannot wait to see this play out on the big screen. Now, probably my favorite part about Ready Player One, besides the world building, and this has to do with the world building really, is that when all these guys form together, you know, to form this rebellion inside the Oasis, they're fighting with their favorite video game and movie characters, because obviously you can create anything you want. I mean, who do we see in there? We saw the Iron Giant in there, people from Back to the Future in there. I saw some Overwatch characters in there in the battlefield. Also, I saw in one promo picture, I don't know if it was fake or not, I hope it wasn't fake, but I saw in one promo picture for Ready Player One, Spike Spiegel, and the Cowboy Bebop, my favorite anime of all time. We saw the swordfish in there, in one of their, it was like a promo poster or something like that. You see the swordfish. So I mean, I am just psyched for this movie. I think we saw Jack Skellington in there, you know, at one point. There's just so many characters. There's just such abundance, like every movie character and every video game character ever almost. There's people from Akira, I think, in there, one of my favorite animes of all time. So many people in there, and maybe it's just movies and like animes and animations and stuff like that, but still, like, every character ever is there, and I think that's such a fascinating aspect for a story, because really, when have you seen that before? You've seen stuff like that in video games, right? But never played out in a movie, never played out on the big screen before in a world like this where it's appropriate to actually call on all of your favorite characters to come fight this war for you. It makes sense in video games, yes, but you could argue that it even makes more sense set in a world like this, set in a movie like this, and once again, Spielberg directing that. I mean, this is a match made in heaven on so many levels, and this movie is going to be stellar. It's going to be absolutely stellar. So now it's finally time for me to score this thing, and you know, now that I think about it, is anybody else getting like a Sword Art Online feeling from this movie too? Another really, really cool anime. I haven't seen it in a long time, been meaning to rewatch it. From what I remember, it was really cool, and it definitely has a Sword Art Online feeling too. And it just, you know, feeling, man, the feels, I'm getting the feels from this trailer. This movie has so many feels, you know, so many different dynamics going on. But yeah, it's time for me to score this thing before I ramble on too long. And you know what, guys? Even though I think this movie is going to be stellar, I do have to give a fair score for my trailer predictions. And what that means is that, you know, even though there's so many different levels and so many different dynamics that seem to be working, because they're involving so many different levels and so many different dynamics, that means there's also a lot of room for it to go wrong. There are so many things that could be represented wrong. The Oasis itself could be represented wrong. Of course, all the movie and animated characters you have in there could be completely represented wrong, or a majority of them, or part of them. You know, you could have anything go wrong in here. The characters could not be portrayed well because, you know, of course we're adapting a book. So, you know, people who have read the book and have fell in love with the book, they're going to be hawking these characters and hawking how the story develops all the way through. So it does have a lot of room to be kind of detrimental, I guess you could say, to the story. So for that reason, even though I think the movie is going to be absolutely fantastic, I'm going to give it a nice fair score of BAM! 85%. Yeah, guys, 85%. And like I said, you know, that score is nothing to turn your nose up at. 85% is a really, really great score for me. And I think it's going to be amazing with Spielberg behind the screen. But again, you know, Spielberg has only had good or kind of great or okay movies over the past couple of years. So we still need to see him shine. But this movie looks great. It really does. It looks fantastic. I think Steven Spielberg is going to knock this one out of the park. It's Steven Spielberg back in the realm of fantasy, and this is going to be a Spielberg film that I think is going to get the same recognition as, say, something like Minority Report, like he did in the past. Like, just a really, really good sci-fi film with a really good story, with really good characters. Let's just hope that they can adapt it properly from the story and not too many people are mad at that. Well, my friends, that's going to do it for this episode of Trailer Predictions. Now it's time for you guys to leave all of your thoughts, opinions, and your scores, of course, down below in the Great White Void. And as always, until next we meet, take care, and now it's time for me to enter the Oasis.